Mr. Lynch.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Lynch.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Down here.
Oh, okay, yes.
I was waiting to strike the last word on the contempt bill.
All right.
Let's recognize her out of order.
All right.
I mean, I don't need to jump in front of Mr. Lynch.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Go ahead, please.
Are you sure? I just wasn't sure where we were in the...
No, go,
Do that.
please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This administration consistently has seemed to think that following the law has some kind of optional drop-down menu that allows them to pick and choose when they follow it. Heeding Congress's requests for information is not optional. Today is really all about there being consequences to those actions, because no one is above the law. Subpoenas are not optional. The Constitution is not some real estate contract the president can treat like it's not worth the paper that it's printed on. This committee has worked painstakingly to get answers regarding one of the most fundamental components of our democracy, the U.S. Census. We must get to the heart of why, after 70 years, this administration, 70 years, would add a question to the census asking every American whether they are a citizen. I don't need to reiterate what every member of Congress in this room knows. This question is untested, unnecessary, and will result in a less accurate census. In fact, earlier in this hearing, I underscored that the reason the Census Bureau discontinued use of a citizenship question is because it contributed to an undercount, the exact opposite of the goal of having a census required in the United States Constitution in the first place. In fact, we recently learned that it is very likely that producing a less accurate census is exactly the administration's goal. Recent court filings show that Republican gerrymandering expert Thomas Holfeller, as we've heard, advised this administration that adding this question would, quote, be advantageous to Republicans and non-Hispanic whites. The goal is clear: undercount immigrants, undercount communities of color, and deny fair funding and representation to the communities in which they live. This is quite simply a diversion of democracy. This administration is working to weaken communities like Miami-Dade County and Broward County, both counties which I represent, to ensure they have less political power and less federal funding for our schools, roads, and other public services. Including a citizenship question turns the U.S. Census into a tool of marginalization, when it should be a bastion of representative democracy. This administration has failed to produce requested documents, defied subpoenas, and interfered with this committee's investigation in a coordinated effort to avoid transparency. And Secretary Ross sat here and lied to us, straight up lied to us when we asked him direct questions. And even with the redacted, ridiculously blacked out information we've received so far, that is clear. The Trump administration may be abdicating their duty to serve the American public, but this committee is not. And we will vote today to uphold the sanctity of our nation's laws and seek to avoid the manipulation of a sacred constitutional foundation of our democracy. To be counted. Thank you. I yield back.